Everybody, I am Ryan Wohl here alongside Jordan Pollock, and we just witnessed an epic battle. Arizona lost 41-34 here at the Coliseum. How are you tonight, Jordan?
I'm good. This is probably the most positive I've ever been after a U of A loss in the last 2 years. So it was a really fun game.
Yeah.
I very much was entertained.
Yeah, Jed Fish, he likes to say he doesn't like to take moral victories in any games, but this for sure could fall into that category if anyone wanted to consider one of those. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, 20-6 run in the second half after giving up 35 in the first half. I mean, what'd you think of this game?
It was definitely a game of two halves for sure. The first half, one thing I really noticed from USC is they were pedal to the metal. I know a lot of that was from Drake London.
9 catches in the first half.
Yeah, he was balling. He was on another level, and they were just kind of throwing screen passes to him, and he was getting a first down almost every single time he touched the ball out in the boundary. And so they trusted him and Caden Slovis. And I think one thing I really noticed when the second half started, they went to a different quarterback. I don't know what was up with that, but they pulled Caden Slovis out. I don't know if they thought they were ahead or maybe he's injured, but they kept flipping between their backup and Caden Slovis. I think that really hurt what they're trying to do offensively.
Yeah, and by the way, he's not just any backup. That's Jackson Dart that you're talking about. He's a year ago he was a 5-star recruit, and he has a great football name, so that's just extra.
True, he does have a cool name, yeah.
And he played well while he threw 2 touchdown passes while it was in for about a quarter until Slovis returned. But what did you think about Arizona's quarterback play? Will Plummer played most of the time, 265 yards, but Jamari Joyner got some work. He had the 70-yard touchdown.
Second play from scrimmage, yeah.
Tavion Cunningham, which was just electric and probably the best play. The best play of this Arizona season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It was. I know one thing we were talking about during the game is you were saying you don't know how going forward they couldn't name Jamari Joyner the starter. I think Will Plummer just showed why he's still in the running. He played a really good game. He didn't throw any interceptions. He managed the game really well, but he did even more than that. He extended plays with his legs. That's something we haven't really had since we had Khalil Tate in town.
Yeah, and that a lot of that happened, late in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
He strung them back.
Big third downs.
They had 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and they were really just hitting on all cylinders. He had the rushing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He really was proving himself late in the game. Jed Fish described it that he has grit and toughness, and we really saw that here tonight. It was great to see.
Yeah, and he was kind of leading the charge. All of them were kind of coming out. Dorian Singer, another guy, wide receiver, walk on. Jed Fish was talking in the post game about how they need to get him a scholarship ASAP. He very much showed why he's worthy of having a scholarship. For a freshman that just walked in the fall to learn pretty much a whole new playbook, a year out of high school, it's insane how great he performed.
Yeah, and this has been the theme all year. Jed Fish basically gives new guys a shot, goes with the hot hand, and that's what he's going to continue to do. But Jordan, I wanted to touch on another guy. Probably Arizona's best overall player, I would say, and that's Anthony Pandy. He had a pick 6.
Showed it tonight.
He had a rush for 32 yards on a fake punt attempt, which is just incredible. He just never ceases to amaze me. I mean, how did you think he played tonight?
Yeah, that fake punt was the thing that I felt like, oh, this game is kind of not really fully out of hand. And it was, I think we were down at least 2 scores at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, here we go again. And then they did that, and they had a huge conversion. They got into plus territory. And he was the leading rusher for, I think, through 3 quarters, which was really
really funny. 3 and a half.
Yeah.
It was he almost got to the end of that game, there as the leading rusher.
Yeah.
And as you just said, you felt when they got that fake punt and he ran that for 30 yards, they were inching closer to USC, and I felt that with the pick. They were down by I think 2 touchdowns, and they got the pick, and they kept it close and they kept fighting to the end. I mean, I feel like there is some progression with this football team, moving forward each week. Last week we saw them leading 16-7 going into the fourth quarter. They blew that lead, but this week they took it even further into the fourth quarter, even to the last few minutes of the football game. So, do you really, what do you think that this is a positive step, and do you think this will ignite the fire to maybe see a win possibly? I know the chances look slim. They have some tough opponents, but what do you think?
Yeah, I know the one kind of matchup we've been talking about was the Cal, but Cal was kind of blowing out. Who were they playing earlier?
I forget. I forget.
Was it Washington? Or Stanford, they were blowing somebody out by almost easily double digits, and so that was the game we were circling on where we thought U of A could get a win, but I don't know. I want to see this team win. The players deserve it, the seniors deserve it, the coaching staff for all their building, but this is kind of what it's been the entire season. The first game, terrible first half. Second half looked great, couldn't quite come back. SDSU, first half, terrible again. Second half, we were good. Then the next game, it was NAU. First half was okay. Then the second half was terrible. So it's kind of just this roller coaster
I feel like since the Colorado game, they've really got on track, and they've really progressed in every game since. So, I mean, if they keep this up, I would hope by, that last game against ASU, they can maybe potentially win it. ASU...
It's a rivalry, at this point, I think that's the biggest one to circle, just because it's a rivalry. Extra motivation's going to be there. Arizona guys, that's one thing Jed Fish has really been harping on so far since he's gotten to Tucson, is we want to dominate Arizona recruiting, and that game is going to be, whoever wins that game is going to be able to win some recruiting battles.
Yeah, I'm not going to say they're going to win that totally yet. Because I still need to see more, and Jed Fish keeps saying you got to play 60 minutes of football. This team hasn't played nearly 60 minutes of football, because in this game, the first half they pretty much played horrible in the first half, and then they bounced back in a big way. But
30 minutes isn't going to do it though.
Yeah, as I said, I keep saying with this team and this talent level and how they've been playing, all the new movements in on the team, 30 minutes or 45 isn't going to cut it. But let's move on. Let's get some early predictions maybe for next weekend. They're playing Cal, as you said. It's on Saturday. It's at 12 o'clock. It's Arizona's homecoming game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you expect to see here? Do you think they could pull this one out? This could be the first time, since October 5th, 2019?
Yeah, It's tough because you look at this game and there's a huge talent indiscrepancy. And so that game next week, I don't think there's going to be nearly as big of a difference in talent. Coaching's a whole nother conversation. Justin Wilcox, I love Justin Wilcox. Was a defensive coordinator for Wisconsin right before Dave Aranda was there, or right after Dave Aranda was there. And so right now I honestly don't know.
Yeah, and it's also the tough thing, Jordan. It's also tough to come off of this performance. Putting up 34 points.
Yep, they're going to be
losing by a touchdown to USC. The locker room, the vibe in the locker room is definitely not as low as it's been in the past, I would assume, just from straight up thinking about it. So, yeah, I think that...
Yeah, and that's Plummer said that at the
now,
post-game, too.
Yeah, I think they might be a slight underdog, but because Cal's got I think they're on a 3-game winning streak right now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona could keep it close. Right now, I would probably say another close loss, but you never know. I think they could pull this off. What do you say right now? We're a week away, less than a week away. It's an early kickoff, 12 o'clock in Tucson at Arizona Stadium.
I want to say it's a high-scoring game, especially from what we saw in the second half. I think if they can try to get a lot of the replications going, and I imagine they're going to try to get the running game going.
Yeah,
definitely against Justin Wilcox's defense. I think it could be pretty high-scoring, and so I don't really love U of A in shootouts right now at the state of the program.
Yeah.
And Will Plumbers has less than 10 starts in his career. Yeah. I'd probably say they'd lose close in a shootout right now.
Yeah. Well, anything else to add before we go here tonight?
I love this stadium. Yeah,
I was just going to say this. For the first time that we've both ever been inside here, right behind us is the legendary, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Just great to be here. The energy in the stadium was fantastic, and maybe
50,000 fans, and it didn't seem like it.
No,
at all.
It's a weird shaped stadium.
It is a weird shaped stadium. Yeah,
a lot of seats spread out, but
there's so much history.
Yeah,
so much history.
Yeah, well, it was great to be here live, even though it was a close loss. It was still a great game, but everyone, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Wildcat Sports, on Instagram at Daily Wildcat, and be sure to check out our football podcast that releases every week, where we discuss everything happening. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.